Okay, hi witches. I know, I'm in a different place today. There is some construction going on outside the window where I usually film. So I moved into actually my bedroom. Funnily enough, this is where I originally was filming my videos before I moved into my actual studio space and kind of created that to be my sacred space. So it's kind of like a nice return to my roots. So you'll see this in the background of most of my videos for this week. Again, it's just because there's construction and all this good stuff going on outside. So if you hear anything, super sorry about that. I have no control over it. But today I want to start off our video firstly with a shout out to all of the people who became patrons this week. Thank you so much. Hopefully you were able to join us for our new moon ritual. If not, no worries. Next week, next Friday, I believe, we are going to be having a full moon ritual. So not this week, next week. So if you'd like to join, I provide virtual rituals for the new moon and the full moon for all of my patrons. So to Bryn, to Emily, to Haley, to Maddie, to Aisha, and to Sadie, thank you guys so much for joining me in the Patreon. And I'm just so excited that I get to make magic with you. So thank you so much for your support. It really does help me. You guys are allowing me to live my dream, and it continues to astonish me every day. So thank you guys so much. I'm so thankful. Today's video is going to be a little bit less formal, I would say. It's going to be a little bit more kind of talky, chatty. I really just wanted to reflect a little bit on the new moon in Aries because it was a very powerful lunation, I guess, for me. A lot of things kind of converged for me, kind of came to a head for me. And I think it's really important for me to speak about not only how you can prepare for a ritual or a celebration of some sort of event, whether that be a holiday, whether that just be spell work that you are working on your own independently outside of perhaps the lunar cycle, because I know not all witches follow that, so no need to follow that if you don't need to or not called to. But I also want to talk about my experience and my own practice and what I am kind of gaining from that, because I think to have the perspective from either side is vastly important to developing your own practice, and hopefully can serve as an example of how I connect with my spirituality, with the lunar cycle, and with everything. So last Friday, we did a really beautiful, with my patrons, I did a kind of creativity, lighting of your inner fire candle spell, which was really, really awesome. I burned part of it during the ritual, and then I actually and I do this really frequently. I don't know, people will probably say it's not proper, but I kind of say fuck the rules. So I burned half of it during that night, and then I went to bed thinking about the intentions that I was setting. And the next morning, I woke up and did a specific new moon in Aries yoga flow, because I hadn't been able to do that specific one that morning. Or yes, because there were two that I wanted to do. Sorry, I wanted to make sure. I'm I know I did one on the morning of the new moon that was supposed to be new moon centered. So anyways, I did that while I was burning the rest of that candle, and really just focused on my intentions from last night, really just kind of solidified them with a clear mind in the morning. And that was kind of how I started my day following that ritual event. So I wanted to really carry on the energy from my spell work into the future, into the next day, and just continue that energy forward, especially because it was all about lighting that inner fire, lighting that inner passion, that creativity. So after that, this weekend I had a I had a host of very interesting conversations, not only with other practitioners, but with my boss and stuff, at work. If you guys don't know, I work at a tattoo shop, so it's a pretty close-knit bunch, and I really love my coworkers so much. Oh my gosh. They are so nice. So we were talking about what our goals are for the future, and my boss, I probably shouldn't talk about this too much, so I'm not, it's all good things. But she's just super driven, and I'm very inspired by her. I need to have this conversation with her at some point, but I just I want to I just be how do you take all of your knowledge that you have gained and just insert it into here, so I can just be as successful and productive as you are, because she's just very, very inspiring, very driven. And I want to get to that level in terms of everything that I want to do with my life. So it really just tied into a lot of what I was already thinking about, and things conversations that I'd had with my partner previously about my direction in life and my path forward. Kind of in my mid-20s, so I have gotten a lot of wildness out of my system, and I'm kind of starting to look ahead to my future. I'm getting married and stuff like that. It's all really crazy. So I felt this new moon was so crucial to planning my life for the year ahead. So I took some some notes and I like transcribed them. I like wrote it down in like a little piece of paper. I'm putting it into my book of shadows. Came to the realization that I've become like very preoccupied by like diversifying and making myself like very accessible in as many ways as possible. So I just feel like, oh my gosh, this is so lame, but in The Lord of the Rings and the Fellowship of the Ring, when Bilbo is like, I feel like butter scraped over too much bread. That's like the vibe right now for me. Like, I'm obviously like, I was hospitalized, like I had all this crazy shit happen. And in talking to my partner, I kind of like came to this realization, even though I've vocalized this many times before, it kind of is just like very much hitting me right now. And really hit me with the new moon, that I am like doing fine. Like, I have lived a lot of my life in this kind of like survival mode where I am just like, oh yeah, I have to prove my worth, otherwise like everything's gonna be a catastrophe, and it literally never was going to, and I did not have to prove anything to anybody, which I now know. But I'm still kind of like learning that for myself, and I think one of the biggest things that I'm focusing on in the year ahead is like forcing myself to chill out, which sounds weird. I just like have a lot of issues with like I'm very much like addicted to work. Like I just love doing things, because I feel like my value is like based off of the things that I do and create. It's fine, we're working on it, but I really came to that realization that like I don't have to necessarily like survive right now. I have to thrive because I have a partner who I know I can count on. I have a steady job. I have this, I have you guys. I have something that fulfills me and makes me happy. So I want to focus more on like that stuff. I feel like I've been called over the past couple months, past couple weeks specifically, in the last, I would say the last month, but little things for the past, I would say like 6 months to a year that like the gods have been like trying to tell me to go do, and I've just been a obstinate mortal. It's fine. But I feel like very called to like to lead with my voice, to provide this place for people to come and learn and not be judged for who they are. I feel the need to serve my community and to connect with others. Connecting with some of the amazing practitioners I was able to talk to over the weekend, as well as someone who was like non-witchy and was just like very curious about it and like wanted to like talk to me for like a paper they were writing, which I'm always happy to talk to people about. But in talking with them, I just like felt a sense of like fulfillment, which is like, I guess I feel like is a little bit selfish for me just to be like, but I want to bring more of that energy into my life because I felt really good, and it felt like I was like contributing something to the conversation and therefore the world around me. So this is like a very self-serving video, but that is kind of like the conclusion that I came to with the Aries new moon. And this is something that I want to talk more about as I kind of start working towards it. But I really realized recently that one of like the thing that I am being called to do in this moment is to create that kind of sacred space. I want to find a place where I can create kind of like a temple, and like I feel like that seems very dramatic, but you know, I hate to use the word church, like that just seems weird too. But just a sacred space where people can come and worship in a way that suits them, no matter what religion they are from, no matter what walk of life they are from, no matter what they, you know, need from their, you know, spiritual practice. And I want to have a place to facilitate these like conversations. I want to have a place to teach classes. I want to have a place to find things that are like sustainably sourced and like don't exploit the planet in order for like for me to like earn a living off of them. I want to just like have a place for the community to gather that is peaceful. I feel like that kind of comes off as like martyrdom or something, or like this like noble purpose or this glorious purpose, like whatever. But I really think that like it stems from, because I have been so hurt by like religion, that I want to kind of turn that around and bring something like positive to the conversation like in my lifetime. So it's not that, you know, I'm not trying to say like I'm this big grandiose person that I am like burdened with this desire to do things. It's like out of the goodness of my heart. Like I just really want to, and I think this kind of is what this has always come down to for me, like with social media, with all of this kind of stuff. Just like being the witch that I needed, like when I was first starting off with all of this, because I did not have a guide. I had the like 4 witchcraft books that were in my library and like Google and a lot of gumption and a lot of desire to learn and to challenge myself to branch out and figure all this stuff out. So if I had someone to be like, oh yeah, maybe you should just like check this out, I feel like it would have been a lot easier for me to kind of realize my path and work in a way that was like very fulfilling. However, that being said, going through kind of that trials and tribulations, that kind of struggle to learn and do things properly, I think has like put me in a greater position to be able to talk to you guys. So I'm not upset at my path, obviously, but if I can be kind of like the thing that I took away, I guess, bringing it back around so it's not all self-centered. All of that to say, the thing that I really took away from this specific Aries new moon and the energy that I'm trying to approach my life with in the next year, because again, we talked about in my last video about the Aries new moon, if you guys want to see it, just how this new moon is really setting the tone for the year ahead. The Aries is the first zodiac sign, so it's like the first in the entire 12-month cycle. So I'm really focusing on bringing that vision into fruition in my life. Now, will that be by this time next year? Probably not. I am very busy, and also like wedding stuff is like what I'm really focusing on, and that's really what I want to focus on right now. However, I will be taking steps to like learning about what my options are, what I need to do to make this a reality, and like how I can fund it, basically. So, that's kind of where I'm at with everything. I just wanted to like, I feel like a lot of my videos come off as like lectury, and I want to make sure like people know I'm still a human being and just like kind of connect with you guys, open that conversation up. I would love to learn what you guys took away from the new moon in Aries. If you guys had any profound experiences, I would love to hear about them. I think I just had a lot of like realizations and like these kind of like things that like finally slapped me in the head hard enough for me to be like, oh yeah, maybe I should just like chill out a little bit, and like it's cool to have a day off. Like, so yes, I will see you guys on Wednesday. Patrons, I am actually like vlogging that morning because I have something specific like kind of in mind that I have planned. So you will see that Wednesday morning. Everyone else, you'll see it Wednesday night, sorry. But beyond that, I hope you guys all have a fabulous day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.